The Minnesota Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards might have themselves a secret weapon because last night in the preseason against the Nuggets, Bones Hyland, yes, Bones Hyland, a name you probably haven't heard in a while, was hooping. I mean, he was hitting big-time threes, just playing his part, and the best part was he wasn't holding the ball for too long. He was engaged in the offense, but he wasn't a ball stopper, and if he can be a piece for this Timberwolves team this year, then look out because that's even more added depth and scoring off the bench. And yeah, Bones was hooping last night, so much so that he really could be this secret weapon for Minnesota, but he's a guy that can come in and just immediately give you 20 points off the bench. He's one of those guys that can come in and take over a game off the bench and just a pure scorer, a microwave guy. Last night he had 18 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal in 22 minutes. He did that on 5 of 8 shooting from the field and 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. The 3-ball was working for him last night off the catch and shoot here. A little ball fake to get Bruce Brown to fly out, and he knocks it down. And then this, if he gets engaged defensively, which was one of the biggest question marks about him all along, then he could be dangerous and he could be played, consistently. But trailing this ball screen, great job here to step in front and intercept the little pick and roll coverage, and then gets it and goes the other way. Once again, active hands by DiVincenzo, gets Bones going the other way, and an easy uncontested layup against the Joker there. And he's running with the backups. Well, not the backups. There's 3 starters in here, depending on what Naz Reid does, and that's a normal unit. So he played the whole first quarter and a little bit of the second quarter with a normal unit. It's not just against scrubs, and again, even Jalen Pickett. All of these Nuggets will get rotation minutes this year. Pickett, Watson, Bruce Brown, Joval, and Julian Strawther. This is going to be their backup unit at times. But, I mean, look at him dancing and knocking down the step-back 3. That's where he got in trouble in years past. Just holding the ball for too long, but if he's knocking it down, he's knocking it down. It's kind of the pros and cons that come with Bones Hyland, the double-edged sword, great behind-the-back pass. And just remember that in his rookie year, he averaged 11 points, almost 3 assists, and 2.6 rebounds in 19 minutes, and looked like a bright young star. 40% shooting from the field, 37% from 3, and he's just 25 years old, so he can definitely still help this Wolves team out. The only problem is they got Rob Dillingham, who is currently slated in to be the backup point guard this year, and they invested a lot of draft capital into him, whereas they just got Bones for like a minimum deal. But if he continues to play like this, no reason to think he can't get minutes. And for the Wolves, adding even more depth will be the best thing possible right now. Of course, they have their megastar, Anthony Edwards, who will be 24 years old, coming off a year averaging 28 a game with 5.7 rebounds, 4.5 assists, shot 45% from the field, 40% from 3 on 10 attempts. The dude's an absolute monster. He led the NBA in 3-pointers made last year, despite the fact that he is a ferocious downhill driver, and this year is looking to take the final leap to becoming an efficient scorer, because last year in the playoffs, he really fell off, especially from downtown. As for Jaden McDaniels, he's another guy here that looks to take a leap. Versus Portland last year, there were games like that game where he dropped 30 and 10 on 12 of 17 shooting and looked like an absolute monster, and then there were games, he'd have 4 points and just be a non-factor on offense, always a factor on defense. And then this game versus LA in the Western Conference opening round where he dropped 30 points and then just kind of fell off the face of the earth. And then finally in game 5 had another big game. He's 6-0. Or the Wolves are 6-0, when McDaniels scores 25-plus points. And, of course, he's 6'10 with a 7'10 wingspan, so is a super rangy defender and one of the best in the business. But if he can continue to be efficient and consistent on offense, they also have Johnny Juzang at 6'10 with a 6'11 wingspan. Love the addition here. I think they claimed him off waivers, and it was a fantastic decision. I mean, he averaged 9 points and 3 boards last year in just 20 minutes a game. We showed you the wingspan. He's a good wing, shot 43% from the field, 38% from 3 on 5 attempts a game. And then 2023-2024, he shot 46% from the field and 42% on 4 attempts from 3 per game. So at just 23 years old, he still has a very bright future in this league, being a 3-and-D wing. Then you get to Rudy Gobert, the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, who's been anchoring a top top 5 defense here in Minnesota for the last couple of years. Yes, he will be 33, but the Johan Berenger decision makes absolutely no difference when it comes to this season in Rudy Gobert, as he is still on a 3-year, $111 million contract. He's still going to be getting big-time minutes, and he's still going to be making a big-time impact. 12 points a game, 12 rebounds, 1.4 assists, and 1.8 blocks in 33 minutes per night. Shot 67% from the field and 67% from the line last year. And between him and Mike Conley, these are the two veterans that they've got in Minnesota. Now, of course, Nickeil Alexander-Walker does go out the door, but they bring in guys, or I shouldn't say bring in, they develop guys from last offseason that they've brought in, like Terrence Shannon Jr., who in Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals dropped 15 points, 2 rebounds in 12 minutes, and then in Games 3, 4, and 5, he averaged 12 points a game with 2 boards in 12 minutes. So he's averaging almost a point a minute. In the Western Conference Finals against the best team in the league, 53% shooting from the field, 38% from 3 for TSJ. And remember, the Wolves outscored OKC during games 3 through 5, which was pretty impressive. He only played 32 games in the regular season, though, but I am a big-time TSJ fan. Changed to number 1 in the offseason, back to the Texas Tech number, and you can see the numbers from last year in the regular season. 48% shooting from the field, 36% from 3 on 1 attempt a game, but I mean, he just didn't get a bunch of PT because Chris Finch doesn't really prefer to play the younger guys, so he didn't get as much PT. Got Rob Dillingham and Jalen Clark in there as well. Rob, who we mentioned in the Bones Hyland part of this video, is probably going to be given many more opportunities in front of Bones. Listed at 6'3", 175, a little bit younger, but remember they gave up 2 first-round picks, an unprotected first, and then a pick swap in exchange for getting Rob at number 8 just a couple of years ago. He averaged 4.5 points, 2 assists in 10 games as a rookie, shooting 44% from the field and 34% from 3. So he's definitely a guy here that they're going to put a lot into and really give him a chance to succeed. He played 49 games last season, and again, Finch not really playing the young guys when he's trying to win regular season games when the West is so tight. He didn't get too much PT, but hopefully this year he will get some more. Jalen Clark, 6'4" with a 6'9" wingspan. He's going to replace Nickeil Alexander-Walker's defensive output that he had for the Wolves, standing at 210. Played in 40 games last year and averaged about 4.1 points per night to go with a little under 2 rebounds, a steal in 13 minutes. Shot 47% from the field, 43% from 3 on 1.3 attempts a night. And with all these guys we've mentioned, including Naz Reid, this gives the Wolves a fantastic core of players under the age of 26. So these are their core for the next 10 years. They all legitimately could play in Minnesota for quite some time. They did have to choose Naz Reid over Nickeil Alexander-Walker on a 5-year, $125 million contract, since they didn't have quite enough money to keep both of them around. So Naz is coming in 14 points per game, 6 rebounds, 2.3 assists, and a block in 27 minutes, shooting 46% from the field and 38% from 3 on 6.2 attempts per night. Overall, pretty solid season for him, and I would love to see him in some starting lineups this year. Of course, they've been using him as a 6-man type thing off the bench, but hey, if they want to put him in the game, wouldn't hate it whatsoever for Naz and the Wolves here. Just a guy that can stretch the defense out, knock down shots. He can dribble, pass, and shoot. They've also got Julius Randle, who we forget about, but he is also a really, really good wing, more of a forward too, but just a multi-dimensional scorer here. He was fantastic for the Wolves last year, especially into the playoffs. Dante DiVincenzo, another really good bench piece here that they have. Great 3-and-D wing, can start if needed. But yeah, this Wolves team, I mean, if they add in Bones Hyland here, they just get even better, and I'm really excited for what they have this season. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit the subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. With that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.